afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenny. Today, our group is delighted to present to you a topic on intercultural communication. Together with me, we have Shermaine, Hyro, and Jacquelyn. We'll be using a movie called The Guasha Treatment to talk about the differences between Western and Eastern culture. Here are the agenda for today. First, I will be covering the outline of our topic. Our first speaker, Shermaine, will be giving you a brief synopsis of the movie, together with analysis 1 on high context versus low context. Our third speaker, Hyro, will be covering on analysis 2 and 3, namely truth versus virtue, as well as high power distance versus low power distance. Lastly, our final speaker, Jacquelyn, will be presenting to you on how we can apply this knowledge to Singapore context. To help you understand more about intercultural communication, I would like to start off by showing you some graphical illustrations shown by a visual designer to show you exactly how different is Western and Eastern culture are. Some of these pictures might actually relate to you as well. The blue color represents the Westerners and the red color represents the Easterners. For the first picture, it shows the lifestyles of the different culture. Westerners are seen as more individualistic, while the Easterners are seen as more dependent on one another. The second picture shows both culture at a party. When you go for a Chinese party, you will likely see them engage in a group conversation rather than a smaller cluster when you go for a Westerners party. This comes back to the collective nature of Chinese culture, where people see themselves as less individual and more as a group, as a member of a group. Finally, the last picture shows how each culture perceives the authoritative figures of their bosses. Through all these analysis and illustrations, we know that as far as culture is concerned, we are programmed by our culture to do what we do and to be who we are. As for the definition, culture is a lens set of shared interpretation about beliefs, values, and norms which affects the behavior of a relatively large group of people. Therefore, the problem we want to analyze here is that the intercultural conflicts between Western culture and Eastern culture is very significant here. Therefore, in this movie, the difference in culture is exemplified by the different upbringing, causing moral cultural conflicts. By exploring these differences, we can provide more insights and to enhance our cultural intelligence. Next, I would like to pass the floor to Shermaine, who will use our case study to talk more about our topic.
Thank you, Kenny, for the introduction. I'll begin by elaborating on the synopsis of the movie. So the movie Guasha reflects the story of a Chinese family residing in America and the various difficulties they face as a result of cultural conflict. Guasha, also known as scarring therapy in China, is a form of treatment based on traditional Chinese medicine and is widely used throughout Asia. The movie begins with grandfather Xu, who comes from China to visit his family. What started out as a simple guasha treatment on his grandson as he was having a slight fever became a case of child abuse in America. Through this movie, we will explore the issues of intercultural communication and address the problems that arise from it. We will now analyze the different types of intercultural problems that were being presented in this movie. So in scene 1, Da Tong insisted that his son apologizes to his boss son but he refused to do so, and therefore Da Tong hit his son in order to discipline him. In doing so, he then discovers that what happened was because his son was standing up for him when his boss son said that he was stupid. This situation left his boss John very embarrassed. So why did Da Tong's boss disapprove of the way he disciplined his son? Da Tong's boss disapproved of the way he disciplined his son because in the Western context, where they adopt lower context culture, he would prefer to find out what actually happened before deciding if he should take any form of disciplinary action. In the context of a low context culture, they tend to rely a lot more on verbal communication so as to negotiate and talk things out. While on the other hand, in the Eastern context, where a high context culture is adopted, Da Tong chose to do so to convey the message to his son that he should apologize for what is wrong. In the case of a high context culture, there is less on verbal communication, but more on immediate actions that have to be taken in order to express remorse for your mistakes. And in doing so, it also attempts to maintain harmony with one another. From this scene, we can see that Da Tong behaved in a way that he thought was appropriate and acceptable to his own culture. Since he was probably also brought up the same way, it didn't seem like it was a wrong thing for him to do. But this is not the case for Da Tong's boss, because by hitting his son in public, it is considered an uncultured and irrational way of disciplining his son, because it is very hurtful to his son's pride, and especially so when it wasn't his son's fault he got angry. Therefore, the solution here will be to adopt the low context culture, where Da Tong should first seek to understand what exactly happened before deciding if he should take any form of disciplinary action. On top of that, Da Tong should have empathized with his boss' position, because in trying to resolve the issue, he neglected his boss' feelings and made him awkward by placing him in a bad position to have to see such a thing happen, when there could have been a wiser way of handling the situation. Next, I will be handing over my time to Cairo, who will further analyze the issues of intercultural communication that was being brought up in this movie.
Thank you, Shermaine, for the concise synopsis and analysis for Scene 1. Next, I'll be talking about Scene 2 and 3, as well as the analysis for them respectively. So when Da Tong's son went to the hospital, doctors found many marks on his back, which was caused by gua sha. The Social Services Department was then alerted, and subsequently, a court hearing was called to determine if Da Tong has indeed abused his son. For the second analysis, we will be talking about why the gua sha treatment was perceived as a form of child abuse in the US, whereas it was a common practice in China. For this analysis, we will be talking about the comparison between truth and virtue. For Da Tong's father, it is the truth that gua sha is a medicine practice commonly used in China. And it was also very common for parents to help their children to gua sha whenever their children fell sick. However, due to the effects of gua sha, the doctors in the United States has perceived morality that bruises can only be caused by abusive behaviors, and hence, it triggered them to contact the Children Welfare Protection Agency. In this case, the doctors in the United States did not try to look beyond the cause of the bruise, and hence they misinterpreted the bruise as child abuse. This could be caused by the fact that they are overly absorbed in their own culture, and hence they presume everything based on what they know. Also, it can be seen that the lack of understanding and acceptance in the two cultures could have also caused the distinction between logic and perceived morality. In the following scene, in Scene 3, when Da Tong's family was gathered for dinner, Da Tong's father started to smoke at the table. This has caused discontentment towards Da Tong's wife. As such, she has decided to immediately open the windows instead of confronting him directly. For this analysis, we'll be talking about why Da Tong decided to open the windows instead of confronting Da Tong's father not to smoke. For this analysis, we'll be using the distinction between high power distance and low power distance. Power distance in this case refers to power being distributed unequally. Since Da Tong's father is older, he has a higher hierarchy, and hence his actions should not be questioned. Da Tong's wife, however, on the other hand, although she is the owner of the house, she has lower power distance, and hence she can only show her discontentment by opening the windows. From an outsider's point of view, it may come across as being rude, as she just opened the windows without discussing with the grandfather. It would have been much better if Da Tong's wife could have voiced out her opinions, as it could have prevented any misunderstandings. From this, we can see that the difference in power distance has caused conflict between Da Tong's wife as well as father. Next, I will hand my time over to Jacquelyn, who will further analyze on what we can learn from this case study and how we can apply it to Singapore's context.
Okay, thank you, Cairo, for your analysis for Scene 2 and 3. So what have we covered so far? Let's do a quick recap. In scene 1, it can be seen that the difference in the upbringing of a child was due to the high context culture by the Easterners and low context culture by the Westerners. In scene 2, we can see that the Westerners were quick to jump to conclusions and that due to perceived morality, and therefore they forgot that they were dealing with an intercultural issue. In scene 3, we have seen that Da Tong's wife, who was of lower power distance, gave in and submitted to Da Tong's father, who was of higher power. So, in order to turn this back to Singapore, does Singapore have any racial riots? Any racial tension? Let's find out. In 1964, on Prophet Muhammad's birthday, a group of Chinese threw rocks and bottles to the Muslims during the procession. This caused a riot to break out. It lasted 11 days, costed 36 lives, and 500 others were injured. This was mainly due to the fact that there was zero acceptance and understanding towards another culture, and could be avoided if they were taught to understand and empathize on the other different culture. So, as we know that Singapore is a multiracial society with four diverse races, it is very important for us to learn how to accept one another's differences, as all these misunderstandings can arise easily. So we have learned that when conflict arises, we should not jump into conclusions. Instead, we should think from different perspectives. We should also learn to be understanding and accepting, even if the culture is very foreign to us. We have to put ourselves in the other person's shoe. We have to empathize with them, instead of putting them down. When discontentment arises, we need to speak about it openly and politely, and it should be done amicably to prevent any misunderstandings. We should not judge other cultures based on our own, as this will put us in the wrong perspective and it would skew our judgments. In order to allow cultural awareness in order for us to be more culturally aware, we have to learn to understand that differences occurs every time, and we should never judge based on what we think it is. We should always think of different points of view. So in the next slide, I'll be showing you that how when we empathize and be understanding and accepting can reduce the tension significantly. So in this scene, it could be seen that Da Tong's boss, who is a Westerner, collaborated and compromised by flying to China to try the Gua Sha method. He listened with an open heart and was empathetic towards Da Tong's situation. And because of his action by traveling to China to try this, he was able to come up with a constructive solution, and this has allowed him to help Da Tong win the case against the child abuse. However, if the Westerners were quick to realize that this was an intercultural communication problem, all this could have been avoided. There would have been more understanding, instead of assuming that it was child abuse. With this, I hope that you have learned more about the intercultural communications that we have taught, and you have learned about empathizing, understanding, and accepting. Thank you. And now we are open for Q&A. I think it is normal to have power distances in Asia. I mean, if you take an example between a Japanese company, let's say in the workplace, a Japanese company and a Western company. So in a Japanese company or foreign company, they go by hierarchy. So you know that they respect their elderly a lot. But if you go to a Westerner's company, it is a very different thing. They don't really care about your ranking. They will just treat you as friends, as buddies. So I think it is quite common, yeah.
So how can you apply on your advice in the school? I mean, like in the with outside the company, right? I think in school also have some problems with the intercultural, right? So can you give us one example and like how we could use your suggestions in solving the problem? Like maybe in the group work, right? So there are many people from different countries. So is there any effective way to avoid the intercultural problem in the group?
Okay, from what my experience, because I went for exchange in Czech Republic, we did group work before, so we can tell that the Westerners and the Asian people are actually quite different. They are very open to ideas and they are very outspoken. As for us, we are more conserved and sometimes we don't share our ideas more. So in a way, we should also come to a compromise that whatever they say, we take it, and as well we input our contribution. So as to make it more abundant and to make the task easier to complete.
Why do you think the Eastern culture, or maybe in Singapore, it appears that people are more conservative about being vocal or about sharing their ideas with one another? Because that's what you said, right? You said that seems to be the difference between the foreigners, I mean the Westerners, and people in Singapore.
I think it should be more of an upbringing of the historical upbringing, because as Asians, we tend to.
Can I help you answer that question? Okay, for us, I feel that because we are afraid of failures, we are afraid that we have ego, we are afraid that people will think that we are stupid. So I don't think we want to voice out that much. And we are just not as participative. We are told to be well-mannered. So I think it's very different from the Western point of view.
So does that have to do with the education system? Maybe when you were young, when you were in school, you were told not to ask questions? I don't know, I mean, I'm just thinking aloud.
No, I personally don't think so. In fact, our teachers always encourage us to give questions. But I really think this is mainly due to our family upbringing. Like in the US, they can call their parents by name, but we have to respect our parents. And because of this kind of respect that we have, we are learning. We have many manners, kind of like mannerisms we have to learn. So I believe that mainly it's influenced by our family upbringing more than by the school. Yeah.
Also, I think it might be because of social pressures, like how we are always expected to behave like how we should. For example, it won't be right for us to just wear exercise attire to come to class. Yeah, so it's more of like how the society views us.
But I've seen people wearing exercise attire.
You mean like sports bra?